Hello crafties, Rose here, and I am super excited to guide you through how to crochet this wall pocket. So I already have in here some little pieces of notes. These are thank you notes that I give out from time to time, and this is my jotter, which I really love using. I mean, I have so many of these all around, and I keep losing them. And of course, I also have a pen in here. I'm always losing pens, so this is such a great way to keep these things in one place. Now, this is not the only way you can use the wall pocket. You can use it as a plant hanger. You can put it in front of your door to put in some kind of decoration there. I mean, any way that you can imagine to use this in your space, go ahead and use it. Now, if you are new to the corner to corner crochet, please check out the previous video tutorial which will guide you through how to make a 10 by 10 C2C square. You will use 2 of these squares to make this wall pocket. And if you already know how to do the corner to corner crochet technique, then join me on this tutorial to crochet this wall pocket. So that's about it. Let's dive in. This is one of the squares. I'm not going to snip the yarn just yet. We just completed this square. So if you are new to this tutorial, please first check out the C2C square. I mean, if you are new to corner crochet, but if you're already familiar with corner crochet, then join us as we continue to crochet on the first square. So we are here now. Now what we want to do is to smooth this edge, the edges, 3 of the edges. We're going to leave the top out of it. Just 1, 2, 3. Okay. So from here, from the last slip stitch on the last block, we are going to chain 1, and we're going to make 2 single crochets into the side of the first block. And now we're going to chain 1. Chain 1, and in the next 2 blocks, 1, 2, 2 single crochets each, which amounts to 4 single crochets. We're going to chain 1 again. Let me explain why we're chaining 1. We're chaining where we're chaining 1. We're chaining 1. If you look closely, you see that this is kind of a bit. It has a slight curve to it. Okay, it has a slight curve. This also has a slight curve. We're chaining 1s over those 1s. So basically, after every 2 blocks, after the very first block, and then after every 2 blocks, we chain 1. After every 2 blocks we chain 1. After every 2 blocks we chain 1 over this space here. And yeah, chain 1. Now 2 single crochets again into the next 2 blocks. And what do we do again? Chain 1. 2 single crochets each into the next 2 blocks. Chain 1. 2 single crochets into the next 2 blocks. Chain 1, and let's finish with 2 single crochets in the last block. There we go. We chain 1 again and we turn. We're going to continue 2 single crochets into the same block. All right, we did on the side. Now we're going to do at the bottom here. Remember that we have a chain 1 here also. If you want, you can put a stitch marker there, because when we come back on row 2, we're going to work into this chain 1. Chain 1, because see, that curve is here. That slight curve. It's at the side. We'll repeat again into each of these 2 single crochets each. chain 1. Chain 1. So repeat it. 4 single crochets, chain 1, 4 single crochets, chain 1. That's 2 each, 2 each, 2 each, chain 1, 2 each, chain 1, and I'll meet you at the end on the last block. 2 single crochets, chain 1, and 2 single crochets on the other side, on the opposite side. Pardon. Okay, yeah, we have a chain 1. So I wanted to be sure that there was a chain 1 after these last 2 single crochets, a chain 1. Okay, single crochet. Now we're not going to chain 1. Why? Yeah, we're using these curves, these slide curves as pointers, okay? This is where we have these gaps. We're using them as pointers for where to make the chain 1s. So it's not going to be exactly as this other side, but the stitches will amount to the same. So in the next one we're going to go, so after you make the the first 2 single crochets on the opposite side, go ahead to make another 2 single crochets on the next block. So that means there is no chain 1 between this block and this block. Now we're going to make chain 1 because see, we are there at that slide curve and that gap. Chain 1, and again 2 single crochets into each of the next 2 blocks. There we go, chain 1. Alright, so let's repeat. 2 single crochets each, that's 4 single crochets, chain 1, 2 single crochets each, chain 1, 2 single crochets each. So I'm going to see you at the end of the row. Completed with 2 single crochets in the last block. What we're going to do now is to slip stitch into the space here created by the chain 3. Chain 1 and turn. Now we want to work back. Alright, we're going to do single crochets into the very first stitch. This is a slip stitch, okay? Please take note of that. We're not working into the slip stitch. We're going to start from the single crochet stitch. So single crochet, single crochet, single crochet into each of the stitches, and also the chain 1. So please take note of the chain 1 stitches between these single crochet stitches and at the edges. We're going to be working single crochets into all of those stitches. So let's go ahead and make single crochets into each of the stitches. I'm done crocheting the second row of single crochet stitches. I'm going to snip the yarn. I'll snip this yarn, I'll weave it till A. What I want to do is crochet a second piece of this exactly like this, and from that we will extend the rows up before joining the squares together. So crochet another piece, smoothing the edges with the single crochet, 2 rows of single crochet stitches, and I'll see you when we have to extend the row. So once we complete the second square and shape the edge, we will raise this up. Okay, so I have the one square here which was done before. So let's continue on this path.
So after you finish the second row of single crochet stitches, we're going to chain one. Now we're going to even out this edge here and make a single crochet into you know that we have 2 rows of single crochet stitches here. So in this second row, the same place where this last single crochet is at. So chain 1 and work single crochet in there, and we will chain 1 again. We chain 1 over this space here, and 2 single crochets into the block, 2 single crochets in the next block. Okay, now we have this space here, that curve, chain 1. Repeat again, 2 single crochets each into the next 2 blocks. Chain 1. Chain 1. Okay, so let's finish this row with 2 single crochets into each of these blocks and chain 1 over here. Alright, we've worked into all of the blocks, and we're going to finish with a single crochet into the side here, into one of the rows here, the very last row here. Single crochet. Now this top part that we're doing is only for one of the squares, alright? Chain 2 and turn. This chain 2 counts as the first double crochet on row 2. Okay, so let's do double crochet into each of the single crochet stitches and the chain 1s as well. So double crochet and double crochet into each of the stitches except the last 2 stitches. The last 2 stitches, okay, except the last stitch, okay, not because this is a chain 1. So double crochet into each of these stitches except the last stitch. We have 1 stitch left, which is the single crochet here, and we also have a chain 1 here. So what we want to do here is to do a decrease. I'll explain to you why. So let me do the double crochet first. So when we finish the double crochet, I don't quite like how this looks with this part protruding. This part looks much better. So what we want to do is to decrease into this single crochet and into the chain 1. It's really tight, but I'm just going to really try and wiggle the hook in there. Okay, we're going to do a double crochet decrease. Alright, now chain 1 and turn. From this row up to row 14, we're going to be doing decreases, double crochet decreases on the sides, on the last 2 stitches. So let's do this one. After you chain 1 and turn, decrease, double crochet decrease, DC2 together in the first 2 stitches, right? And double crochet across each of the stitches except the last 2 stitches. The last 2 stitches being the double crochet and the chain 2 from the previous row, these ones. So we're going to decrease across this and this. But for now, let's just work double crochet stitches. let's decrease across the last 2 stitches. This is a double crochet stitch, and this is a chain 2, which counts as 1 double crochet. So into that chain 2, top of the chain 2, we're going to decrease. All right, there we go. Now chain 1 and turn. Like I said, from this row up to row 14, we're going to be decreasing in the first 2 stitches and the last 2 stitches. So double crochet, decrease, double crochet across into each of the stitches across. Now let's decrease across in the last 2 stitches, and this is a decrease from the previous row. Chain 1 and turn. So what you want to do now for the next 10 rows is to repeat row 4. Decrease in first and second stitch and in the last 2 stitches. So I'm going to see you on row 14. Okay, we have 12 rows here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 rows. Okay, and row 13, decrease, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, skip 3 stitches and decrease. Okay, chain 1 and turn. Now we're going to do single crochets into the very first stitch here, which is the decrease. Single crochet, 3 single crochets in this chain 3 space. Single crochet into the decrease. Now we're going to start working on the side. In this same side, this same row 12, we're going to do another 2 single crochets at the side there. Two single crochets in the next stitch row, two single crochets in the next stitch row again. So we want to repeat this into each of the double crochet stitch rows, 2 single crochets. Okay, one more double crochet stitch row. Okay, now that we've completed the single crochets on the sides of the double crochet stitches and the last single crochet on the last the very first single crochet row here, we're going to join the second piece. I have the front of the second single crochet row facing out, facing me. So we want to go in here. So this is what I want to do, because you see there's this slight height here. Okay, so if I just went into the single crochet here and into the very first single crochet here, which is what we are supposed to do. When I turn, I'll have this part here that looks like it's loose, and I don't like how it looks. So what I want to do, and if yours is looking that way as well, what you want to do is go into the very first single crochet here and go into the side right there. This part here is chain 1 from before, so we want to go in there and we will make a slip stitch, right? Slip stitch. Now we will go back into the same stitch, single crochet stitch, and into the first single crochet on the second square, and do a single crochet, finish with a single crochet, and we will continue on the next stitch and the next stitch here. So let us match each of the stitches, single crochet to single crochet, and join them all around, all the way to the end here. So I will see you at the very end here. Okay, we're at the end. This is the last single crochet on the block and the last single crochet here. So yeah, this is fine. Now we're going to work up the row. I'm going to make the first single crochet in here because that is the first, let's see, yeah, in here, that's the first single crochet row, and 2 single crochets into each of the stitch rows across. And into the last this is also a DC2 together, but that last row, 2 double crochets, okay, and join into the very first stitch. We'll snip the yarn. We will then weave in the tails. Snip yarn, weaving tails, and your wall pocket is ready. Okay, I'm going to show you an alternate way to work the bottom if you're thinking to add some strings at the bottom. Alright, so after you work this side, this is the very last side, and this is the curve. This stitch begins kind of is at the curve at the bottom here. So after you make that first single crochet, you chain 1, and now we're going to work 4 single crochets. We're not going to skip any stitch. All right, work 4 single crochets. Three and 4. Chain 1 again. I would suggest that you place some stitch markers into these chain ones, you know, so that you know where you need to be attaching the yarn. Okay, chain 1 there, and 4 single crochets again into the next 4 stitches. Remember, we are not skipping any stitch as we work these single crochets and do the chain 1. So how many now? 1, 2, 3, and 1 more, 4. Okay, chain 1 again, and repeat this. Single crochet into 4 stitches, chain 1, single crochet into 4 stitches, chain 1. I have done the last 4 single crochet stitches, and I'm going to chain 1 now. Now I'm going to carry on making single crochets excuse me, across the remaining stitches. So single crochet all the way and all the way up till you finish, and then I'll show you how to join the fringes. Okay, I have all of these strands, 10 inches. I'm going to be using 4 each. So I already know where the first one is, so I'm going to join with this side facing out. So I'm going to join. So to make it easy for you, after you join the first one, just count 1, 2, 3, 4. You know that automatically the next chain one is going to be after the 4th stitch. And this is how it goes. If you like really wanted to embellish it again, you want to add some beads, you go take your beads, and okay, this hook is really big, so you use a smaller hook and start it and pull it out. Thank you for joining me on this tutorial, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Don't forget to check the description box for all the links that you need for the chart, for the C2C square, and for the written pattern as well. Thank you once again. God bless you. Bye.